There are stories that live in the shadows, stories whispered only at night. Stories that slip between the cracks of the ordinary world and the world we pretend does not exist. Tonight, I'll share a tale that challenges everything you think you know about reality. A disappearance so strange it defies modern science. A Reddit encounter that reveals what might be living in the corners of your room. And a haunting that didn't come from a house, but from something far older. These are not stories for the faint-hearted. These are stories for those who dare to look deeper. Let's begin. It began with a call nobody ever wants to receive. The kind that interrupts a quiet evening and changes the direction of your life without asking for permission. Detective Aaron Cole stared at the message on his phone. Case reopened. We need you. Same girl. Same forest. The same forest he had sworn never to go back to. 10 years earlier, it was the disappearance of a young girl named Mara Dale that made him quit the department. She had vanished in Black Pine Woods, a place already known for strange happenings and whispered stories shared only in low voices. Despite months of searching, despite the footage, the tracks, the interviews, they never found a body. Only a necklace. Her necklace. The one with the scratched-in initials and a tiny metal feather. Aaron placed the phone down, took a long breath, and stepped out into the night. He could feel it already, the old pull. The kind of case that doesn't stay buried, no matter how long you turn away from it. And as he drove through the silent roads toward the forest, he remembered the last thing Mara's mother ever said to him. She didn't vanish. Something took her. At the time, he dismissed it as grief. But over the years, he wasn't so sure. When he arrived at the command tent near the forest's entrance, a young officer looked up at him with clear relief. Detective Cole. Thank God. We found something. She handed him a clear evidence bag. Inside was a necklace. The same necklace. Mara's necklace. The metal feather was cracked now, but it was unmistakable. Aaron froze. It was impossible, unless someone had kept it all these years and placed it out here intentionally. Or unless Mara was back. The officer continued. Sir, there's more. We picked up screams last night. Multiple callers reported seeing a girl running through the trees. Barefoot. Dirty. Wearing something white. She hesitated. Every description matches Mara. But sir, she'd be 23 by now. The callers swear she looked 12. They were trembling a little, as if even repeating the story made their skin crawl. Aaron didn't answer. He simply walked into the forest. The deeper he went, the more wrong the air felt. Like it wasn't wind he was feeling, but the forest itself breathing. He remembered standing in these same pine shadows a decade ago, calling her name, hearing nothing but empty silence. But tonight was different. Tonight there were whispers. Not loud enough to understand, not even loud enough to confirm they were real, but just present enough to make every instinct in his body tense. Half an hour in, he found footprints, small, light, the exact size Mara's had been at the time of her disappearance. They circled around a tree, then doubled back, then disappeared completely, as if the girl had simply lifted off the ground. He took out his flashlight, sweeping the trees. That's when he noticed something ahead, a strip of white cloth caught on a branch. He lifted it slowly. It was old, decaying at the edges, like something that had been buried for years. Yet it looked freshly torn. He was about to bag it when a sound cut through the stillness, soft, rhythmic tapping, like knuckles gently hitting wood. Tap, tap, tap. He followed the sound until he reached a fallen log. The tapping stopped. He leaned in, and then something tapped back. From inside the log. He stepped away. A faint voice drifted out. Help me. It was a child's voice. He slowly approached again. Mara, silence. Then, without warning, a girl's face appeared in the darkness of the hollow log. Pale, dirt-smeared, eyes too wide, and smiling. Not a smile of relief. A smile of recognition. A smile that said she had been waiting for him. Aaron stumbled backward, but she crawled out unnaturally fast, like her joints didn't move the way they should. She stood there, dress in tatters, hair tangled and wild. She looked 12. Exactly 12. As if no time had passed. Detective Cole, she said softly. You came back. He tried to speak, but the words wouldn't come. She stepped closer. I didn't disappear, she whispered. They took me, and now they want you. And before he could process what she meant, a shadow passed between them. Tall, impossible, bending the air around it. The girl's face shifted, frightened now, and she grabbed his hand. Run. They ran through the trees, branches slashing, shadows moving unnaturally. Aaron could hear something behind them. Not footsteps, but a dragging sound, heavy and slow, like something enormous being pulled across the forest floor. When they finally reached a clearing, the girl stopped. "It's no use. You can't leave." She pointed to the trees. "It won't let you." The forest around them began to darken, the sound of wind rising into a low growl. Aaron turned to her. "Mara, what happened to you?" She lifted her arm. Her skin wasn't right. Too gray. Too thin. And on her wrist was a symbol, carved deep, like someone had etched it into her flesh. A circle with 3 vertical lines. "This marks us," she said. "The ones who belong to it." "Who?" he demanded. She shook her head. "Not who. What?" Before he could ask more, the shadows behind her swelled. Something was emerging. Something massive. A shape he could barely comprehend. Trees bent as if bowing. The air itself seemed to twist. He grabbed the girl, pulling her back, but she didn't move. "I can't go," she whispered. "I'm not real anymore. Not fully." The ground shook. Aaron felt cold fingers brush the back of his neck. Not physical fingers, but something that reached into his mind. Then he saw them, dozens of pale hands emerging from the shadows, reaching, clawing, eager. Mara stepped forward, putting herself between him and the darkness. "Let him go," she said. He came back. "That's all you wanted." The shadows paused. Then they receded just slightly. Enough for Aaron to stumble backward. Mara turned to him with a sad smile. "You were the only one who ever looked for me. The only one who didn't give up." Her voice cracked. "So tonight I'll save you." And with that, she walked into the darkness. Aaron shouted for her, but the forest swallowed her completely. The shadows closed like a door slamming shut. Then the air went still. Silent. He found himself standing at the edge of the forest again, hours later, unsure of how he got there. The officers found him shaking, unable to speak. When they asked where he had been, he simply handed them the necklace, the cracked metal feather. Back in his car, he checked the rearview mirror. In the back seat, just for a moment, he saw her. Mara, smiling, dirt still smudged on her face. And then she was gone. To this day, he refuses to speak of what happened. But every night, he hears tapping on his window. Soft, rhythmic, familiar. Tap, tap.